All right, they finished up day 3. Starting to lay the foundation or the block. Made some decent progress. I guess I have no idea how much to expect they get done in one day. I've never been around block work, but I got this corner done down in there. I'll walk over there here in a second. Let's look. I don't think they've done anything in that end. You got more block and mortar ready to go. Took some time getting all that set up this morning. So I'll say tomorrow they'll get more done. That's about how far they made it. I think they're gonna probably take till Friday to finish it. That's what it's looking like, and then pour concrete inside the corner back here on Monday. And then I assume they'll jump right into starting to put the walls up, start getting lumber in here and start doing the actual structure. All right, second day of laying block. This is how much they've got done so far. I think this wall right here is at the full height. Same with that back corner there. That one is basically done too. It's deceiving. It looks like that corner is way higher than the rest, but it's just optical illusion. Rebar in there. I think they got the rest of their block in here. I think they're good to go on that. I think they're gonna work tomorrow, and then probably Monday they should be done with it. I think we're gonna have to transition to putting gravel everywhere, dealing with the footer drains and backfilling with the gravel, getting the gravel in for the floor fill, because it sounds like it's getting harder and harder to get concrete, which is a shame. Because like I was saying, all we need is about 2 yards in that back corner, and then we're good to go for a while. Start building the actual structure and the roof and everything else, and then at some point we get enough concrete to do the floor, but we just got to get about 2 more yards, so we'll see what happens. Right now it's looking rough trying to find anything, but basically everybody they've called said no, they can't for a while, so whatever that means. Maybe somebody gets an extra 2 yards one day and calls them and says, we got some for you, or who knows. But that's it. I'll get another video tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a good bit more done. I wouldn't be surprised if they get almost all of it done by tomorrow. Well, they finished laying the block today. 100% done with that. They also filled that back wall in with concrete this morning. It took them probably, I have to add it up, 3 or 4 days for all this block work. Today's Wednesday, the second week. Monday, Tuesday this week, they pretty much got rained out. I think Tuesday they had a wedding to go to or something, but they got a lot done today. Like I said, finally got that concrete in here. It was a little sketchy being able to even get some. I think it was only like 2 yards, but to fill that wall in. But glad they got that done. Like I mentioned in another video, if they just get that done, they can get the whole thing under roof, regardless of the concrete situation. And then once we get concrete, pour the floor, which would be the last thing. So I was glad they were able to get that and keep us moving for now. Otherwise, if they had to wait a month to get concrete in that back corner, they're just done till December. So I was even talking to the concrete driver, or the truck driver today. He was saying the same thing. Like, yep, everybody's struggling to get some. I don't know if I got a job day to day to haul anything or not. So anyway, like I said, glad to get that back wall poured. Try to show you where they filled them up. You got their anchor bolts set in there. So they set the initial rebar, I'm gonna say maybe 10 pieces in the footer. and sticking up. Last night I cut up a bunch more rebar, just threw down in some more of the holes just to give it a little bit more strength in there. I don't know how much it'll help. I mean, yeah, it's probably either gonna crack one day or it's not. Hopefully it doesn't. I mean, there really shouldn't be that much pressure on it. I think the gravel will be filled up to like the second from the highest block there. So you can kind of picture it's gonna have about 5 or 6 feet of gravel at the worst point. Of course, gravel doesn't put a lot of pressure on it like clay does and other things. So I'm hoping that just the fact there's no water in it, it's gravel, not a ton of weight on it, it'll be fine. But it's just this back corner that has me a little concerned. They filled it all the way to about right here. So, past here is no concrete in it, but it shouldn't have much pressure on it. It's only a little bit high there, probably a couple blocks. And a lot of this will get backfilled onto the back side of the wall, giving it some strength on that side. But we'll see. I mean, I could have problems with it over the years, or maybe nothing ever happens. Who knows? But it took some time to try to think through where I want these doors at. The man door, that big 12-foot door, and then the 8-foot door over there, the man door on that back side. It's a situation where I got to live with it for a long time. I wanted to make sure that I got it where I wanted it. It's kind of hard to visualize, trying to picture it from the front, what's going to look the best, where you want the doors in terms of what's going to go behind the door. You don't want to waste too much space. When I back in here with the vehicles, I want to make sure that it's not too far up against the hillside, but not too far over this way. This way is going to have a drain and stuff in here. You don't have to be backing over. So I really spent the weekend trying to visualize it, thinking about backing up, how that's going to work, trying to center it up where we're going to be. It came down to just, do I put 3 whole blocks, 2.5? I mean, it was somewhere in that range. And yeah, I told him 40 inches on both sides, both doors. Let's put them 40 inches from the outside wall. And looking at it right now, I'm fairly happy with that. We'll see once we get the whole thing done and start backing vehicles in here, but I think it's a pretty good middle ground. No matter what, it wasn't going to be horrible. It's just a matter of where is the best. And like I said, I got to live with it for a while, so wanted to put some thought into it. This back door here, this 8-foot door, I was originally going to try to hold it that way a little further just to make it easier to get in and out of here, because I got this hillside right there. But I got to thinking, the times that I'm actually going to come through this door is going to be pretty rare. Maybe getting the tractor back in here at some point, or hauling some wood in here with a 4-wheeler or side-by-side. It's not like we're going to be using it very much. And I just thought that having it offset to one side was going to bug me too much. Just going to look weird from the outside or even the inside. Like, why is it offset like that? So I just decided we'll weasel through there a few times we need to get something through there, and not have to look at the wall being, or the door being offset the whole time. There's a 32-inch door there. I think what I'm ending up doing is having the air compressor in this corner. You come in here, maybe a workbench here. Might put a grinder over in that corner, kind of keep it away from stuff. Again, this is going to be like a little shop back here for, I'm thinking like working on motorcycles and just having the tools and the workbench and everything kind of back in here, store the welder or whatever, and leave the big area for the vehicles themselves and projects. So I think it'll be a pretty good sized space. Put a motorcycle lift in the middle, something to pick it up from the ceiling in there, and just kind of my workspace in here. What I'm thinking, but who knows, down the road I may switch things up a little bit. But tomorrow they're bringing in a bunch of gravel, and gonna start backfilling these footers, and start filling this in a little bit. You have to build like a little bridge to get over this with the skid steer. They're gonna bring in 5 tons of river rock, fill that in, and then 5 tons of crusher run, and kind of build it up like a little bridge across here so they can drive over it for now. But get that done, then I think by Friday they're thinking they may start putting some wood in. They're gonna start trying to get some lumber in here and get the steel plate set, and you go from there. They're thinking by end of next week, hopefully have the roof on it, but we'll see how that goes. Obviously, weather dependent is the big thing at this point, but no more rain to worry, or not rain, but concrete to worry about, so that's good news. So anyway, glad to get it all done to this point. Oh yeah, one more thing. They're gonna be putting the the footer drains on these back sides all the way around tomorrow. And then at some point I'm gonna put in my gutter drains underneath, or on top of that, but underneath the gravel on the outside, so you'll never see any of it. So anyway, that's another thing we're working on too. All right, a couple more things I was gonna mention real quick. my dad gave me this idea of putting some geotextile or fabric between the mud, the dirt, and the gravel that's going to go in there to kind of keep them separated, so mud doesn't mix in over time and clog up that footer drain. And the more I thought about it, it's probably not a bad idea. And I had some of this fabric laying around already, so I just split it in half and kind of laid it around there. But I don't know if I'm gonna do the whole thing or not. I mean, the other side's kind of shed that way, and this side could kind of trap water in here. So the other side I don't think will probably be a problem, so I may just do this one corner. But something else I was gonna mention is when I first got the quote for this from these guys back in January, the price was significantly higher than what I had in mind when I got into it. Of course, I didn't really have much to go off of. Modern day 2022 prices for a foundation type garage, a footer, and all that stuff. All I had was some older quotes from people I knew that had prices for pole barns. And talking to the owner, he's like, I told him, I said, this is more than I had in mind. He's like, I know. He said, it's the foundation situation is what's driving it up compared to what you're probably expecting. And now that I see what all goes into it and thinking about it some more, it makes a lot of sense, because if you build a pole barn, all they've done so far, almost 2 weeks of work and all these materials and everything else, would have been completely avoided with the pole barn. They just would have came in with an auger, dug some holes, dropped some 8x8s in there, and poured a little concrete and moved on. Or if they put it right on top of the slab, they would have poured the 4-inch slab, set the post right on that, and moved on. It basically shaved off 2 weeks of work, at least a week and a half of work, and thousands of dollars in materials and concrete and everything else. So it makes sense looking back on it why he was saying, well, this is why. It's probably 30-40% more than building a pole barn, because at this point it's almost like building a pole barn from here up. But yeah, like I said, at this point they got a solid 2 weeks in it, and I'm sitting here thinking about it. They still got to do the footer drains, all this backfill of gravel. That's gonna be a couple days of work. So anyway, just something I was thinking about it, why it's so much more than I had in mind. But it was just a situation I had here with the drop off, that wasn't going to work with a barn or the pole building. I wanted it to match the house, and there's other advantages with having a foundation type garage. But anyway, I can definitely see why it costs that much more now.